sign for them. Honestly, I think this veto really favors the side of Russian Canadians. I think they should be, on paper, on top of this one. So I'm going to go ahead and transition into the game so you don't have to look at my beautiful mug anymore, nor my hair, which I have not done today. Again, just waiting for everybody to ready up. Lots of question marks surrounding in. Wow, right on time. That's actually where the game is going to begin too. So knife round to start things off as per usual. And I have to say, when it comes to predictions, I'm going to have to give a slight edge to the side of Russian Canadians. Again, the former roster of Six Gear. I don't know why they lost their sponsor, but they are a pretty sick team. In their last game that they played under the org, they had a 16-2 win, so they at least have that going for them. Knife round. Doesn't matter all too much. It looks like ImPerium probably will lose it, although it's getting pretty close. One of the more exciting knife rounds I feel like I've actually even seen recently, and I'll be damned. ImPerium actually win it out. Nice little 3K from Carter. Let's see if he can actually do it in the game where it matters most. ImPerium, as you would imagine, will start off on the CT side, and that will mark the beginning of this best of one. Again, if you're just joining, my name is Ito, and I am one of the next big casters, so I have a lot of hopes I can go ahead and put on one hell of a show for you guys. Again, I appreciate anyone who's tuning in. If you're from HLTV, if you're just watching through that embed, or if you're actually coming here from my Twitter, something else, who knows what, I'm just happy to have you. As we look to this pistol, Russian Canadians, again, I gotta have a little bit of an edge for them here. Looking at this setup from ImPerium, it's aggro right off the bat. This is exactly the same setup Russian Canadians did back in their other Inferno game versus X Recon 5. And so the fact that they're using this strat again, I'm not exactly sure how it worked out for them last time, but I know that they found this initial pick right off the bat. This time, no free kill. But at least they have a lot of info to go off of here. Now just holding down Banana, they can sit on this, wait for Joel's maybe to make a move. He's sitting right outside of brackets, inside Boiler, and this is a wonderful position for him here. This is basically all according to Keikaku for Russian Canadians. They have a ton of map control to work with here. ImPerium are going to have to use their fair bit of utility that they've already used just to try to regain control. The push will eventually end up over towards A, where Burt is holding over towards Pit. The smoke comes down right onto the molly. That's going to be good. It buys a little bit of time for him as well as Wilkie as they hold it down in Pit. And Russian Canadians, they don't want to mess with this anymore. They're going to actually go over towards B this time around, where Wolf is going to find the first kill. This one's going to be onto Carter J, and this is why that map control is going to be so insanely important. They're going to be able to win some of their duels for the most part. They are trading out left, right, and center, but Russian Canadians will come out on top. They'll get the bomb down. And this is just clean Counter-Strike from start to finish from Russian Canadians. They haven't had to hit any crazy shots just yet, and in fact, they might not have to at all because the fights are basically just coming to them. Wilkie, the only person to really find any sustainable damage on the side of ImPerium, is going to go down with the rest of his comrades, and it'll be a very nice 1-0 for Russian Canadians. A beautifully played pistol. I kind of read them like a book. Lots to be happy with regarding that. ImPerium, as you would imagine, are going for the second round of force up. It's not abnormal in the slightest. You see often the Mag 7 being brought towards half wall here. Russian Canadians are watching for it, and they're going to snuff out that first kill. There's a couple of HEs to go down onto Castro to take him out, but this is still a pretty okay scenario for Russian Canadians to be in. We'll toss down a Molotov towards mid. That will prompt the push in over towards Arch. They could wrap here if they wanted, but it seems that they're just going to consolidate out onto the site. Flash a little bit off to snuff out Vec, but at least Battery is able to finish the job. ImPerium, pretty good trade so far. I mean, honestly, they're making this a pretty noteworthy round. I didn't think it was winnable right off the bat, especially after they gave up Wilkie, but I'm being pleasantly surprised. Post plant, always the most difficult, however. And you'll see probably both members, remaining members, I should say, for ImPerium going down. But this is a lot to be happy with. Mac 10s being the last ones left standing. Obviously, they'll upgrade their guns to whatever was on the floor. But ImPerium, this is actually one of those scenarios where, in theory, they could try to force up, or at least half buy here, buy a couple of upgraded pistols, and maybe get a little bit more eco damage under their sleeves before they go ahead and give up the Ghost. Well, there's only one upgrade pistol. You see a Zeus from Ellison. Probably going to bring that over towards apartments. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I would imagine you're going to be seeing a default here from Russian Canadians. Probably the same thing as they did on pistol, honestly. Work for banana control slowly. Just kind of pincer off the information that you're given. Astralis stack are going to be, Astralis stack, not Astralis snack. Christ, talking is hard. They're prodding pretty deep into the site here. They haven't fully cleared it. In fact, they should be incredibly terrified of what's coming behind the smokes. Holy hell. Pretty good damage from ImPerium at least, but again, not enough to write home about. If a couple of these players actually went down, it'd be something impressive. Ellison will make it so onto Vec. Find one, maybe two more guns here, and suddenly things are actually looking up for ImPerium. Obviously not many chances. But Ellison will be able to buy anyway, so I could see him trying to go for an exit or two. Again, economic damage is of the utmost importance. Nice little pincer in from Russian Canadians, though. They'll make it so they have no worries whatsoever. 3-0 start for them as expected. But things get a bit more confusing, a little bit more interesting now that the op has entered the server. You see M4's behind it. And hey, what's up, Frey? How you doing, dude? Welcome back. 4 M4's behind it. Emphasis on a lot of mollies here, I want to say, by the way, from ImPerium. Makes sense, it is Inferno. You do see a lot of that being cycled. But overall, not anything too interesting from the Russian Canadian side. They're actually, you know, it is kind of interesting that they're giving up banana control. They're basically going for brackets right off the bat. The thing is, that's actually been pretty well telegraphed. Rotations are on their way over. Burt in an anchor position towards Coffin. Kind of in a scary situation, to be completely honest. But he's been down this road before. I'm sure he knows what to do. There's a trade in the form of Carter onto Castro. But reading the kill feed would simply give you that same idea. Right now, Russian Canadians, you have to remember the map control that they have on hand. Burt, not fully clearing out coffins, will find a freebie on the battery. And that makes this basically impossible for Russian Canadians at the moment. A 2v4 obviously is unlikely just from the get-go, but the fact that these positions aren't great other than Joel's makes it just oh so difficult to believe in an opportunity. Joel's will make it so, finds that first, and now is going to be waiting for a rotation. Bomb is still in over towards Banana, and the fact that Joel's has gone uncontested this entire way, ImPerium, they don't want to go ahead and temper the beast. They don't want to poke it, prod it with a stick, because they realize this could be incredible danger for them. Vec will now be the player to keep an eye on here as he makes first contact. It's a clean kill onto Wilkie. Still a 1v2 regardless, but Vec can actually do this. 13 seconds left on the clock. He'll fake the bomb plant to try to find a frag, but Ellison will get the better of him and better of the timing, and it will be a nice first round in from ImPerium. There is a good amount of damage, but it's overall not a bad 2v4 conversion. As for criticism, you know, maybe you can argue that Russian Canadians, they're just kind of working those negative trades from the get-go, and it wasn't great. But they've been in those kind of scenarios before. Again, in that last match versus X-Recon 5, there's a number of scenarios where they're in, you know, 4v5s right off the bat, and yet still manage to convert those rounds. So now that they're up against ImPerium, I'm sure they're going to prove more of a challenge. It seems awfully promising for what ImPerium have offered up so far. Right out of the gates. Onto the A-bomb site they go. Wilkie and Heretic will find one, but the trades are beautiful. In from Joel's, it's 3 for him. And where did that even come from? I have no clue. He makes it look like a deathmatch server, and he's looking for even a little bit more too. He's on 6 HP, he's bleeding internally, but he knows that one frag might be coming up over towards Porch, the other realistically coming up Moto. You don't need the X-ray to find that out. But Joel's keep a wary eye on him. He hasn't spotted Heretic yet. Now he has. He's going to be going for a couple of headshots, this time punished by Heretic. Down into 2 versus 2 we go, but they need to start moving quick. Vec will punish Heretic, and Burt, basically caught out by that smoke, will have to save. An insane transfer of... I don't even understand how Joel's got those first 2 kills. It wasn't even a transfer. It was just a full-on 180 without having to stop shooting. It doesn't count as a transfer? I don't really know. It was like 2 bursts. Yeah, whatever it was the sickest thing we have seen so far. Joel's will be put onto Galil duty. It feels like utter robbery after seeing what he pulled off last time. That round, in of itself, was utter robbery. After those first 2 kills, ImPerium, you'd bet your house on them winning it. That's the magic of CS. Sometimes just crazy plays can completely flip the script. A force-up round for ImPerium. M4, upgrade pistols, only an HE on Carter J. Basically just going to be trying to ram their head against the wall here. Unfortunately, lying all their hopes on Burt is only going to do them good for 2 kills. Overall, Russian Canadians will be able to take the site. There's still a lurker, unbeknownst to ImPerium, over towards alt mid, who will find the clean frag. And the round will find its logical conclusion. Despite Burt being able to find a double over towards Coffins, he's been really solid in that position, I want to say. Fair play to him. I think it's been a good rock for ImPerium so far. Again, I also think about that solo kind of anchor position he had to hold previously when they were doing that 4-1 stack ImPerium. That ended up getting them that first round in the first place, so... You know, you can definitely rely on him to kind of be that anchor. But as for the big problems when it comes to the side of ImPerium Esports, I'm not exactly sure where to diagnose them. Just kind of all over. It seems that these mid to late round conversions are incredibly difficult for them. Fair play to Russian Canadians, however. Former 6 Gear boys are definitely showing them up. And posting a pretty solid T-side so far at that. Really, Molotov will mark the beginning of a bit more control of Banana. And Carter J will make one burn alive. However, I'm more interested in Burt's position. He's caught out with an HE in his hand. That's just unfortunate. That's just kind of how timing in CSGO works sometimes. But they can still hold off. Emphasis over towards A, judging by the radar, and ImPerium are kind of in a difficult position, to be quite honest. Russian Canadians, when it comes to actually making their pushes happen, they move incredibly quickly, and they hold really on the site itself. Now, the fact that they've doubled back should be giving warning signs to ImPerium that they're not going to be finishing up over towards A. They can tell by how aggro this is. There's a bunch of flashes on the ImPerium Esports side. Do they have this much trust in Carter J to hold down Banana? It feels like suicide. The util is running dry for both teams, but they're going to use the last of what they have just to go ahead and try to break neutral. While they will do it, while they will take the site, Carter J won't be in a really big playmaking position unless he forces himself in. Joel's now down. He'll be passing that message on to his teammates. Ellison gets another towards Banana, but I'm still not sold. ImPerium could most definitely still lose this. The flash in. Castro will be first contact. A nice trade on through. Makes it so surely ImPerium don't lose it at this point. Wolf will try to prove me otherwise here, but they're taking a vertical approach to it, and that will be good enough to finish the job. It's a lot of bloodshed for only a second round on the board, but regardless, ImPerium can call it theirs. 2-5. And a near 4 versus 2 converted. Thing is, even though that's a loss, Russian Canadians can still be relatively happy with it. This means that they can afford more rifles. They can afford to keep on trying to work for that early Banana control. I mean, think about it. If Russian Canadians didn't die to those Molotovs right towards the beginning, God knows what could have happened. Now they're going to be used to that util stack, and how do things change up as a result? You see Battery tossing down the smoke towards top Banana, and there it is, the instant response. There's a reason these guys are on MDL teams, and we're just kind of the notable spectators. Oh no, I'm getting the bug again where it's stuck on a smoke. This is the most annoying bug in the world. Why does it exist? So we're just going to go ahead and keep an eye on the smoke here. Let's use our imaginations, take a gander at the radar, and you can tell that there we are. They're going up arch side. Russian Canadians Immediately wrapping, and this is what I'm saying. They play for sight immediately. The fact that they move so quickly just makes it so insanely difficult for Imperium to actually adjust. And quite honestly, it forces Imperium to take the aggro approach. Since neither of those two necessary things were met, necessary conditions, Imperium will have to go ahead and save their rifles for another day. Not too much of a argument otherwise. Russian Canadians, these changes of pace are pretty good. I kind of like them. I mean, the thing is, Imperium Esports in some cases have been setting up for it. Again, I want to go ahead and look back at that round where it was a 4-1 stack. Imperium holding 4 at A. And, I mean, that would have been pretty much a perfect counter to what Russian Canadians has pulled right there. Kind of feels like more than anything, they're basically training into them to start rotating a bit earlier. I'm not sure if Imperium will actually take the bait. This might not be the round to do it either. It's going to be a save for Imperium. Just with those two guns that they managed to hold on to from the last time. That'll be their scraps to work with. A bit more of an emphasis on A, considering the AK is brought there as well. What I would imagine we'd see is coffin and then flower pots or something like that, but no, they're going to be gambling A? What is going on? Joel's has already found a kill meanwhile, but that's not exactly what I'm interested in. It's these rotations from Imperium. What is the info that they're hearing? Seems like whatever they had, they're doubling back on it. They no longer want to try to go for anything all too risky. They'll just do a standard flash play. Right, to find an early kill. Not working out. Meaning that Burt will have to shoulder a lot of work here. And unfortunately, the UMP doesn't play nicely into a lot of those scenarios. Wilkie will get at least two to stem the wound a little bit. But Russian Canadians, right as Imperium were celebrating their 2 kills, they've already planted the C4. Really terrible times for Imperium. Every round looks like they're making a little bit of momentum. Russian Canadians just completely switch up the pace. That necessarily wasn't even one of those scenarios. That's a standard banana take, really. I just think it's really unfortunate that Imperium lost that duel over towards banana. I mean, imagine if they did. Or imagine if they won, excuse me. We've seen a completely different scenario on our hands. It's looking incredibly one-sided at the moment, and the scoreline would tell that story maybe a little bit better than I could. However, out of desperation, perhaps, Imperium will finally bring out the sniper once more. Heretic going to be the wielder of it. Are they going for a jump boost? They were. At least going for it. they didn't get on the first jump. I can respect it. Counter Molotov out just so they can go ahead and rotate around porch side probably. No, they're doing it again? All right, Heretic. You've convinced me. Maybe it's not going to be the run boost that I was expecting, but sure as hell going to be peering over that smoke. Joel's could completely spoil this party, however. And, oh no. Joel's. He was not ready for it, man. He was setting up a smoke. He was getting all ready. That's still really good info for Russian Canadians. And you see Imperium are reacting to it perfectly. This is beautifully played by them. I have to say, Russian Canadians, fair play. They're reacting to this really well, but Imperium are most definitely having the right ideas on how to handle this push from Russian Canadians. I'll get into it after this round ends because, that being said, we're still in the midst of it. All players basically gathered up over towards B for some sort of sermon, some sort of meeting, and unfortunately it's a meeting of the arms. Heretic, nice little double. We'll go ahead and make it a third for Imperium. And finally, they're starting to get a bit more oomph when it comes to finishing up these rounds. What I wanted to point out is that Russian Canadians, since they spotted 2 over towards brackets, towards arch side I think is probably the more appropriate phrase for it, they can basically say immediately, all right, 2 there, time to go ahead and gamble it, or gamble B. They can just go ahead and push right up here. And then Imperium, now knowing that information, knowing that a mid-B hit is probably going to be their best semblance of action, just went ahead and tried to retake top banana control. some 5-head maneuvering from them. And although ImPerium had a bit of a struggle, they ended up actually finishing up the job here and getting a well-earned third round, probably the most convincing one at that. And there's a lot to be happy about. Sure, the scoreline is 3-7, but you know, 8-7 isn't impossible. If they can keep showing up that kind of performance, God knows what could happen. A pause for now, however. Pretty sure that was just a tactical. Trying to think who it's really for. I mean, I guess ImPerium will make sense on paper, just considering the situation that they're in. Heretic, I'm interested to see. He's going for the B spawn here, so probably look out for an Astralis flash into a Heretic peak, I would imagine. No. Every time I want to try to, think something is going to happen, they end up switching up the equation entirely. Not a bad idea, though, regardless. That HE doesn't do anything. Come on, man. Slower mid-round. From both teams, really. Heretic being the solo player towards B. They have been giving a lot of emphasis on solo plays, I have to say. Maybe they've started to figure it out. Heretic, regardless, will find that first kill onto Castro, and that's really big news. Heretic can now just dump his utility, try to hold the line as best he can, and wait for his friends to come and maybe save the day a little bit more. But he doesn't need any Knights in Shining Armor. Right now, all he needs to do is hold the line. Because thing is, Russian Canadians, while they do get the C4 down, they've just committed quite a bit of utility to smoking at CT. And Vec, I think, is a little bit frustrated, realizes it. Now, no more smokes. Basically the best possible case scenario for ImPerium, honestly. Powder would be pushing past the smoke that has now intruded his way. I'm not sure if there's anything that can be done about this. This is already just such an insanely difficult scenario where the trades are going to have to be on point. If they're not, ImPerium win it in battery. Is this going to be left wondering what went wrong? Oh no! He had the right idea like 3 times there, man. I need to go ahead and look at a replay. How close was he to actually finding that kill? Like, it wouldn't have won the round anyway, just because they had enough time, plus they had kits, but valiant attempt. Valiant attempt. Finally, the Russian Canadians will be punished and put onto a relatively bad eco. They still have Mac 10s. Or a Mac 10, I should say. And an AK as well. Gathering up A. Probably going to be seeing another fast arch wrap. Would make the most sense. Castro, just ballsy as hell, tries to push out. He finally loses a duel. Kind of a freebie given to ImPerium, it feels like, but they're struggling to actually finish up these fights. The TTK may be a little bit higher than you would have expected. Then at least ImPerium will harness the beast. And Heretic has a good read on it. Freydude says he was on him on the last shot, but he was moving. Oh, okay. I thought so, but I wasn't certain. Sucks for him. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. I still don't know if that would have actually converted into a round win. I think there was another person on the bomb just in case things went wrong. But hey. Double save for Russian Canadians here. Hail Mary didn't really work. If they found that first kill, maybe there was, but not so much after seeing how that first duel went down. And Russian Canadians will once again try to bash her head against the wall. This time a bit more of an emphasis over towards arch side, and Wilkie, he'll make both of them burst into a nice little firework of blood. That's kind of amazing. And hey, remember I said 8-7 isn't impossible. This is exactly why. ImPerium has struck back with a pretty sick play of their own, gathering a couple and nearly evening up the score. You see ImPerium will switch up their setup as well. The Heretic will be the one flashing in. You'll see that early fight be taken. Russian Canadians now having to use their util just to try to stay healthy. They'll get punished pretty damn hard because of it. Castro Well, he will find that kill onto Burt. Still doesn't exactly mean that many amazing things for Russian Canadians. Castro, again, as I mentioned, is bleeding internally. He's not doing great. Ellison could so easily punish this. I'm not sure if smoking close was the right idea, honestly. But hey, he's the one in MDL, not me. I feel a little bit concerned. Maybe he does as well. He'll back off. Doesn't want to mess with that. But in comes Jules right at the perfect time. Oh my god. This timing is unbelievable. They both managed to avoid each other. Oh my god, they're not peeking out. Russian Canadians. Are you seeing this? They could actually go ahead and quite seriously it happened again. Dude, this is unbelievable. This timing. It's so bad for ImPerium. They still win the fights? Well, these Russian Canadian are getting onto this thing in the first place. This is unbelievable how it's gotten this close. ImPerium should have gotten that kill onto Jules so long ago, it feels like. But it's not going to be the case. And a 1-on-2 is what Vec will have to overcome in order to maintain the lead. And probably even hold on to it for the rest of the half. Vec at least will find the first, but the second is just out of the realm of possibility. The trade is, probably the most logical thing. And ImPerium will be completely ready to pounce upon it. 7-7. Maybe my prophecy will come true. Maybe it will actually be an 8-7 half in favor of ImPerium. They seem to have a lot of momentum rolling for them at the moment. And Russian Canadian, I want to see them try to take a bit more brackets control again. Those faster plays towards A, I feel like have done them a lot of good. And holy hell, although they managed to avoid the op from Heretic, that's just going to completely throw off their timing. They'll just push right into a gauntlet of a couple of kills. Wilkie, Heretic shutting it down. It's going to be a pretty anticlimactic last round, to be completely honest. The only one that can try to convince me otherwise will be Joel's, but stuck in a 1v5, he is going to have to go ahead and pull off probably the craziest scene we have seen. Craziest play we have seen this entire season, excuse me. And, well, if there's anybody here who wants my, wants my number so they can contact me for an analyst gig, I recommend you hit me up. Because I predicted it perfectly. ImPerium actually do manage to get an 8-7. 6 rounds in a row towards the end of it, I believe it was. Some pretty nutty play from ImPerium. Switching up their CT setups really well. And honestly, I think a lot of that was due to some of the early util stacks that they had over towards Banana. They weren't even necessarily fighting for top control that much. It was just like the onslaught of nades that they just kept on throwing at it. Those Molotovs are really just ruining a lot of the members of Russian Canadians. It took a while to get going, but once they did, they look a lot better because of it. Leading the charge at the moment will be Wilkie, who has 101 ADR. Heretic also doing pretty good at 13 kills of his own and 75 ADR. But, I mean, I think, far and away, Wilkie has been probably the most impressive player on ImPerium so far. As for the side of Russian Canadians, middling results from a lot of these players. I think Jules has had a lot of the, of the power plays for Russian Canadians. Just because, I mean, obviously I want to look back on that round where he got a 3K entry. That was still absurd, but regardless, he's always in some of these kind of riskier positions. You see him kind of messing around with the ImPerium esports camp towards apartments or something like that. Now that he's going to be on the CT side of things, God knows what's really going to happen. Last time I was very, very impressed by the Russian Canadians back when, again, they're under a different team name. So maybe they can go ahead and do it again. They're not up against X-Recon 5 this time. They're going to prove a lot more of a challenge. You can probably tell just based off the scoreline, but if you couldn't be convinced, I'm pretty sure Russian Canadians with their double shots onto the ImPerium esports members as they try to flood up over towards A will go ahead and be a perfectly convincing job at its own right. 2 kills immediately in, and the CTs, they're still trying to go for a bit more. This is insanely risky, and quite honestly, I'm not sure if it's the best course of action, but they'll try to go for it anyway, not getting that bomb down. They're choosing to take a couple of more fights. What is going on, ImPerium? They have such an insane success rate with them at the point. And now they're just going to keep on trying to go at it. Finally, the bomb will go down, and ImPerium can force our artificial timer onto the Russian-Canadian camp. But now the moves need to happen quickly from the two members. Battery will actually get that entry, stealing it away from Castro. But the trades are going to be logical and very clean at the same time. Ellison at least will close us out, but once more, too close for comfort. And the winning ways will continue for ImPerium. Willie says, guess 3 Brawl GOATs of all time. I'm going to see if I have the same answer. Honestly, I don't follow Brawlhalla at all. So, me, you, and Fredu 1999. Those are my 3 GOATs. I don't follow Brawlhalla at all, dude. I know you're from the Rectify camp, so hello. Different team. Different everything. Quicker play from ImPerium once more. Just trying to rush up over towards port side. Don't have to think about it all too much here. Russian Canadians, although they have bought up, pretty much the only thing that they had to worry about. Well, actually, maybe not the only, but the main thing I feel like they had to worry about was getting that apartment's control. They've seized it, and they can hold on to it pretty well, and this is going to be a wonderful pivot for them. Or maybe they just won't bother with it whatsoever. Or holding on to the apartment's control. Wise for them to. Then maybe they can go ahead and actually just double back towards B. No, they want to keep on going with A here. They have a lot of hope that's actually going to be maybe a bit of a second guess from Russian Canadians. They've still held on to this A control, however. This actually might be their downfall. Molotov in. And right onto Vec as well. Jules. This is basically the perfect opportunity for him. It's a double kill with the Nova. It's not often I get to say that, but my lord, Russian Canadians, they're going to be treating me tonight. 8-9 in ImPerium, still barely squeaking out the side, will lose to Novas and a couple of 5-7s. That is unbelievable. Such an insanely long game played by the Russian Canadians as well. Just how much diligence they had that they weren't going to try to rotate back to B and that they kept on sitting on their stack. I mean, that is not an easy thing to do, especially since you saw towards the beginning Russian Canadians were doing a ton of rotating of their own. And they're going to be treated very, very nicely because of it. They're going to have a feast of eco players to munch down upon. And they're going to even be softened up a little bit by those HEs that were tossed through. Battery with the opener. And probably one of the finishers as well. Battery and Castro. All getting involved. Castro actually up to a 3K in this one. It will all fall into Heretic, but as you can imagine, he's going to fall. Not even finding a single kill. The score will be evened up. Willie saying, who's always talking in chat? And Rectify's... I'm not like the Rectify account, if that's what you mean. I'm casting their games, but I'm not actually like the account, you know? I'm just casting. That's all. Well, with that out of the way, my life has been a lie. Oh, bro, I'm sorry, Willie. I'm sorry, Willie. Now I feel bad. Yeah, I don't know anything about Brawlhalla, man. Sorry. It's such a bad way to learn. I feel terrible, bro. You know what else feels terrible? More pauses. A double tack pause being called at this point. Probably just a bathroom break. I respect it, regardless. Some of these players are coming home from, you know, a day at work or something, coming right into playing an MDL match. So you have to respect, you know, maybe they're just eating dinner midway through a game or something. Who knows? Tyboy is the owner of the Rectify stream, yeah. He's the owner of the Rectify org. Frey Dude saying Imperium played New York today. That's true. I forgot about that. And didn't Russian Canadians also play, actually? No, they didn't. I don't think so. What teams were I thinking about? Whatever. But yeah, I know a number of them played IEM New York today. Holy hell. They're not looking like it. Imperium just got demolished by a single HE. I was thinking of Rebirth. That's it. Thank you. Really on point today, aren't I? Just trying to rush Boiler. Overwhelm if they can. But Russian Canadians have such a wonderful pincer on it. I'm not worried about it at all. It's going to be 10-9 in favor of the CTs. Overwhelming victories in these past couple of rounds, I have to say. Sure, they lost the pistol in the follow-up, but ever since then, they have looked good. Next gun round will be coming up this round, however. You're not going to be seeing an op in the picture, possibly for either side. Actually, might actually be a really good time for Russian Canadians getting op. But they'll stick with the UMP. They're just going to try to save up, get a bit more money in their pockets if they can. Maybe it's a wise idea. Who knows? Right now, Imperium Esports. It's the first time in a while that they've been on the back foot. Managing to squeak out that 8-7 win towards the end. Russian Canadians, at least for the first couple of rounds, had their number, but Imperium have had some pretty wonderful form. Now you never be able to tell. Looking a little bit scared as they approach the top of Banana. And that HE is going to be really healthy. Top control taken. And now Imperium will have to fight for it immediately. Vec won't be able to win, or wins that fight, excuse me, and Heretic won't. Now Imperium are in a pretty difficult spot still. Or Russian Canadians. God, I'm really on point with my casting today. Battery and Wolf both losing fights. Let's go ahead and just stick with that one for now. Kind of an interesting round, to be honest, from Imperium. Insanely slow approach. They actually never had to actually see a bomb site in the first place. All the duels being brought to them. Russian Canadians maybe getting a bit too antsy trying to take the top of Banana. Could actually end up being their downfall. Three Goats are Little Cat to rectify. I throw out and you. Dang, dude. You know what's up in the Brawlhalla scene. Yeah, again, man, I'm sorry. I don't know anybody who even follows that either, but I played like 30 minutes of it, so I got that going for me. Russian Canadians. Once more on the back foot, we'll be buying up as you would expect. They had a UMP in that last one. Maybe it was like, you know, bad juju for them or something. Doesn't seem to be getting better now that we're getting rifles onto the table, however. In fact, it might be even going worse. Imperium are not looking in it at all. Or Russian Canadians aren't looking in it at all. And Imperium are just running away. Taking the site, actually going to be able to see it this time around. And those were some aggro duels taken. I don't feel like this was the most strategically deep round or anything of the sort. Christ, Wolfie. I was about ready to give up immediately, but the fact that you found that first kill is kind of scary. But what I was saying here is, you know, I don't feel like Imperium have had to do anything all too crazy. I feel by and large, they've just been having to stick to their default. And a lot of times Russian Canadians are, you know, they're ready to take these kind of fights. And it's probably not in their best interest to. This time they're going to be doing again. Look, they're contesting top Banana control again, although they've had such a bad fortune doing it. Imperium, at what point does fatigue start becoming a factor as well? Because as Freydu just pointed out, they have another game right after this. And they've already played ESL New York today. It's just like the fun never ends for them, bro. Especially when you get domed down like that. I'm sure your mental isn't exactly doing them wonderful. Russian Canadians are collapsing upon the A bomb site. I don't think they'll be able to hold this off for the entire round. They've gambled towards A once more. And Imperium, they've been down this road before. Their hesitation to actually push onto the site is insanely notable. As the Molotov rings out, Joel's be ready, watching with the Desert Eagle, crossfired with his teammate holding on site. And ImPerium, although they seem a little bit scared of the Eagles, will still continue to fight their fight. And will be rewarded in a very nice way. The bomb site, all theirs. Bomb money, all theirs as well. And quite honestly with that, the second round, also going to be in their possession. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get some of these rounds against Russian Canadians when they're fighting so tooth and nail, but I think at this point, Russian Canadians might have to start rescinding a bit of control over some of these areas. ImPerium are fighting insanely hard for them. If there's any sort of play they could do to try to punish how ImPerium are taking it, you know, at the top of my head, I'm thinking about, you know, what if they just give up top banana and then go for another flash peek in? It's something that they did a number of times already, and it's had an okay success rate. Might be worth giving another shot. But again, as I always like to say, these are the guys who are playing in Mountain Dew League, not me. They probably know very well how to handle this sort of scenario. Regardless of how you feel about it, this probably won't be the round that it happens. Russian Canadians will be forced onto mainly just pistols. There's a couple of upgrade ones, as well as that gun that Castro saved. And they don't seem to be switching up anything all too crazy. There's still a nice usual util dump being brought out over towards the top of banana, as well as a bit more emphasis on apartments. They're going to be stacking over. Now I'm liking this, Russian Canadians. This is a little bit more of the kind of confident style that I want to see. They're stacked up over towards alt mid, and this could actually do a lot of decent work for them here. The entry begins right in, and they're collapsing. The pincer is in from ImPerium here. They know that they're up against pistols at the moment. That being said, there's not much that really Russian Canadians can do at all other than hit a couple of bangers like the one Wolfie just did right there. They're losing numbers. Both teams and ImPerium are somehow staying alive, but it's not always going to be this good until Castro gets involved as well. The AK-47 picking up one onto Carter as he's not even looking the right direction, and he's going to double up and find another one. This time it's on to Wilkie, and now Heretic will be left all alone. Now he has to be completely and utterly confused about how they just got pincered in by pistols and couldn't break past that neutral game that they were set. Wolf, while he will be spotted here, he's going to be the free kill. The big boss that they have to worry about comes in the form of Castro, who actually made a bit of noise as he treaded through the Molotov. Heretic, not aware of it though, will be trying to peek out towards the bottom of the balcony. The timing could not be worse. I don't think he spotted him. There he did. Oh, he most definitely did. Heretic is bleeding internally. This would be the utter snatch of a round if they can possibly get away with it, and Castro just might have. 3 seconds remain as he just about gets the bomb down. And he will. Heretic now has to pull off something monstrous if he wants to win this. On life support, he's going to need every bit of health that he can, but it's not going to be helpful when Castro is lurking around the corner. Russian Canadians, they keep the dream alive. You would have bet your house on ImPerium winning that round, and yet, despite it all, the hero AK that they saved from the last round ends up being basically exactly what they needed. What an insane round. House gone. I know, for real. If you bet your house on it, then I'm sorry. You're going to be living in hotels for a while. This game really couldn't be closer, and I'm happy that's delivering. Russian Canadians are putting on one hell of a show. Some of these rounds may be a bit too close for comfort, but ImPerium, they haven't given up hope yet. More emphasis on apartments. It's been good to them. And quite honestly, a lot of the time, ImPerium haven't even really had to fight too much for it. Russian Canadians have been giving it up for the most part, playing over towards Balk, Pit, and a lot of the time that crossfire is set up on site. This time, though, there is going to be a fight coming in the form of Joel's, who is holding on balcony, sure, but he'll be watching for the exit alongside his teammates. This is such an insanely strong crossfire for ImPerium, and it honestly might be round. FaZe give up 2, maybe 3 picks here. Or 1 or 2 picks, excuse me. Not going to nearly be the case at all. Holy hell, it's actually the complete opposite. Oh, if they just done it upon them. Castro, yeah, go ahead and nab another AK for your trouble. He's going to have to save that one. This round is nigh impossible to win. Clock will be forced down to that artificial 40-second timer. And the hunt for Castro, will it even begin? They're going to have enough money to chase this. This is kind of a breaking point for the eco as well. The team that was going to lose this is probably going to have to save as we inch the end of the line. And it looks like Russian Canadians are going to be the ones trying to gather themselves, compose themselves for the late game as ImPerium go up to 13. They're well within striking distance of actually closing this one out. And it looks awfully promising for them at that. Again, you have to think about the economical situation. Bam, as the bomb goes up, you'll see what some of the Russian Canadians will have on their hands here. Vec can buy comfortably. Castro can probably drop an M4 over. Probably just a FAMAS, MP9, something like that. Castro has a sticker that says Dick on it. Yeah, man. It's got to be my boy Dick Stacey. The famous former Australian Counter-Strike player. Now turned into a Valorant player. Messed up world, bro. But yeah, eco, it's completely broken. So as you're going to expect, there's not really much of a chance for the Russian Canadian forces. Once again, they're going to hedge their bets on Castro going massive. And, well, I mean, with a tap like that, maybe you have a little bit more reliance. You'll see ImPerium will be guarding that gun with their lives, knowing that one of those CTs want to probably pick it up, poach it, and call it theirs. Meanwhile, over at B, there's a boost onto Flower Pot, something that I'm surprised we haven't seen utilized previously. We're finally seeing that come online, and that could actually be a pretty nice setup for them. Battery has been kind of a menace over towards Coffins. Perhaps it could actually be some sweet, sweet victory, some sweet, sweet revenge on the ImPerium esports side, who have long, long done so much damage. Or maybe it's going to be the complete opposite. A massacre over at the B-bomb site. Bloody scenes. And those coffins are soon going to be filled with the bodies of the Russian Canadians. Although Wolf has managed to sneak in, he will eventually fall alongside the rest of his comrades. And Joel's, alongside his teammate Castro, will probably be saving those 2 AKs that they retrieved. Not many more chances remain for Russian Canadians to get this, or to get back into this game, excuse me. And pretty much all the bets and all the choices that they do have will rely on those AKs, to be honest. I'm still surprised we haven't seen a couple of more AWPs. Heretic, I mean, hell, he's on the T side and he's using the alt, man. He loves that thing. Even if you don't see it all too often on Inferno T side. Certainly not as much as when you're defending. Well, rings the bell, I guess. There's the op showing up. Bit late to the party, but at least it will arrive nonetheless. This will mark a pretty significant change in how Russian Canadians want to play this. An early peek mid, peeking right into that flash, but hasn't spotted anybody. You see Battery, he's more of a passive opper when it comes to actually playing on the CT side from what I've seen. A lot of times you'll see teams who are down in these sort of scenarios try to go for an alt mid peek right off the bat, something insanely risky. Just try to eke a frag right off the bat. But he's just playing standard. It doesn't have to be all too complex, and it still might do the job. Good flash in, forces him off his position, however. And he'll set down a nice welcoming mat. A warm welcome, I suppose you could say. But a breath of life has been pushed right into the Russian Canadian side. That HE somehow not taking down Joel's will make it so he can live another day as well. And the setup remains strong for the CTs. There's even another player ready to enter the scene. That'll be Battery watching over towards Moto. And, well, he comes right into fruition just like that. There's still a player remaining in over on the Cold Zero box that Heretic needs to watch out for as he's moved towards back sight. That was a critical shot for him to hit, but he doesn't. And that buys some very critical time for Russian Canadians to try to close the gap if they can, but right into the crosshairs of Wilkie Casher will go. And this is somehow still winnable from ImPerium. Nice spam onto the player on Cold Zero box, but despite those nice little efforts, it's not going to convert into a kill onto either one of those remaining Russian Canadians. They'll stay alive again, this time 12 to 14, way closer than I actually figured it'd actually go. I'm surprised it's actually going down to the wire like this. It's promising, really. Again, since Russian Canadians haven't exactly had the best form as of recent. Or, excuse me, ImPerium haven't had the best form as of recent. Getting a win under their belt would be pretty huge. Not seeming wonderful, though. Already losing that first kill. Yeah, that's not a very good omen, isn't it? Double sniper is brought out for Russian Canadians as well, I should mention. Probably one of the more notable things we've seen so far. Right now, though, this is probably the most default you can get when it comes to a CT setup. Boosting on top of flower pots, again, we're going to be seeing that get utilized. ImPerium have now overtaken brackets, and you know, what I want to see here is an arch wrap. An arch on Tomoto, I think, would be really good for them. Knowing how Russian Canadians like to play their setup might be pretty much your only way to actually break through. I sure as hell don't want to see them try to go over towards porch. Seem to agree with me on the arch wrap part. So they're going to go ahead and have a nice little twist upon it. It's called the Dying to Vex strat, and it works perfectly. That's not really good news for the ImPerium esports side, however. Sure, maybe their strat of dying to a single player holding CT worked, but it was so obvious as soon as they tossed down that smoke. I just don't exactly know what ImPerium's final goal with that was, other than hoping there wasn't a player playing that off angle. Allison will retrieve the bomb, but no time left. Just will have to die before the time goes blip and he doesn't get any more money. But while doing that, that's basically going to grant another one onto Russian Canadians. We're probably going to be seeing the full 30 at this point here, because once again, looking at the bank accounts for all of ImPerium, the scene isn't too great. Heretic has a P250, and considering he still has 3450, and also we'll be seeing 2900 loss bonus come into play, probably going to see him pick up the up again. As for this round, though, I don't think there's all too much to write home about. Through the fire and the flames, Bert will not carry on, and he'll be dragon forced into a grave. And it's a pretty terrible scenario. Honestly, nothing that can be done here. They're just going to have to feed into the beast. There's a lot of requirements that needed to be met for this to actually work out. And the fact that Wilkie actually gets a kill with the Glock is pretty absurd to me. Tries to go for another one, knowing that getting the bomb down is impossible, but at what point do you gamble it? 14 to 14. And things get better with time. And like a fine wine, ImPerium, they've ripened up. That being said, the Russian Canadians are the ones who are definitely doing the drinking here. They're looking drunk on victory at the moment. 14 rounds for either team. Way more close than I figured it would have been. Well, we're definitely going to be seeing regulation at this point, but I also don't feel like overtime is impossible. Heretic will indeed not be buying up an AWP. So what you're probably going to be seeing from ImPerium is something a lot quicker. Now's a good time for them to change up the pace. Again, I still am a heavy believer that them working for brackets every single time is probably their best bet at winning this game. As for Russian Canadians, quite honestly, keep up what you're doing. They have insane reads at the moment on how ImPerium are playing these early rounds. Look, they already have 4 people stacked over towards A, and the round is barely 20 seconds in. Oh, Vec finding a player down mid too is going to be some really good info. Basically has narrowed down the remaining positions of Imperium to one of two areas, banana or in apartments. And guess where they are? They're in apartments, baby. Now the CTs will have a nice little challenge of form here as they try to hold down the site. They'll be trading 1-for-1 with the Imperium forces. Wilkie will break that neutral, make into 3v4 of his own volition. However, Russian Canadians, they cannot give up now. This is probably the most vital time for them to actually try to strike back and make a little bit more of a bump. Castro, he's rotating all the way around over towards port side. And while there is a player over towards pit in the form of Ellison, who is watching for it, the timing will be in Castro's favor to maybe find a kill here. The flash is in. Castro, not looking over towards Graveyard, will nearly lose his head, but he actually struggles to find the kill. And Heretic will get punished alongside his teammate Ellison. What is going on? It's going down to the wire. It's Wilkie versus Battery for the most important round of the game, and Wilkie will come out on top. 27 kills in Imperium. They finally get onto that match point. It takes a Herculean effort from Wilkie to get there, but they cross that line. Russian Canadians, they have one last chance just to bring this to overtime, and they'll have to afford every last gun. They can barely scrape by. Vec, he's in there with an MP9, half set of utility. Wolf isn't doing great, has an HE, and all of that is going to be expended incredibly early just to try to hold on to Banana, but they give it up. They don't want to fight for it too hard. They'll just change their rotates. Imperium, you don't have to be a genius to know that they're switching up this setup from what they were just doing last round. As you can see, the presence from Russian Canadians, they know that basically no one is in over towards apartments. It's going to be all B all the time, maybe for the rest of this game. And judging by how Russian Canadians are doing, maybe they're just going to go ahead and bring this to OT. Wolf is holding on, gets a kill with a USP, and I'll be damned. This might be 15-15. Ellison, though, can't choke on him. He's been given the shot. What is going on? Battery. This man, he's just taking his time with the op. How is this actually a winnable round? I have no clue. Ellison, he's hoping on a dream, but it's not going to happen. 15-15. And we're going to overtime. How the hell have we gotten here? 8-7 on both sides. Battery nearly choking away the most important kill. Actually, no, he didn't almost choke away the most important kill. He did choke away the most important kill. He's just lucky that his teammate managed to close it out. That makes me even more firmly believe that Joel's has been the most important player for Russian Canadians. Both teams hanging on by a thread. The magic number to look for, if you're new to CS, is 19. First team to 19 will win it. Otherwise, if you get tied up 18-18, then we'll be going to double OT. And hopefully it doesn't go that far, because I have another game to do. Hopefully the break won't be too long. Trying to take a gander at the stats for both teams at the moment. MLC NP saying if he clutched that. Dude, I was thinking the exact same thing. Can you imagine if he did? I wouldn't even know how to cast that. Like, that first kill, that was a skill. You know, that was cool. That was a nice trade. I don't believe that he got that kill onto Battery. Now, I understand smokes look different. Plus, we have the magic of X-Ray. But I feel like Battery should have been able to see him long, long before he actually did. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'll look at the stats right now. Wilkie, as you would imagine, still top of the scoreboard for both teams here. He's at 29 and 23 with 95 average damage per round. He's been great this entire game. Again, having some massive rounds. He's probably the big player who actually forced it onto OT in the first place. I'm glad that I have a couple of seconds just to breathe. Compose myself before we head right back into hell. This game has just been absurd. Well, I guess now, since we have a bit of downtime, if you guys have any questions or any... Never mind. Okay, never mind. No questions. If you had any questions, screw you, because we're just going right back into the game, apparently. Perfect timing. That's really just my luck. If you're just joining, my name is Zito, and this is Russian Canadians versus Imperium Esports for Mountain Dew League Season 13. It's an honor to do this for the next big caster challenge, and I hope to put on one hell of a show for you, because I'll be very, very honest here. I think both of these teams have put on one hell of a show. That's just my job to try to make it more and more exciting. Double snipers for Russian Canadians in this first OT round. Both teams also, again, if you're just new to the CS scene, as I know we have a couple of players, or a couple of people in here who are. It's first to 19, and both teams start with 16K at the beginning of OT. 3 rounds on either side, etc., etc. We're going to be here for a while. Heretic has also brought up the op, I should say, and playing extremely aggressive with it. Respect for that one. So he looks to be flashed in by his teammate. He will be looking battery's direction. And he actually hits that. I am baffled. There's no way he should have. His crosshair was so far off the mark, but he's been hitting a couple of bangers this game here. He hasn't been the most flashy opper. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that he actually hit that makes it so much easier for Imperium to actually probably pick up number 16. It takes a while, but they're looking damn good now that they actually get a lot of money in their wallets and a lot of guns on hand. Wolf will try to spoil the surprise, however, and he will find 1 kill. That being said, it's a standard trade. It's not going to be all too exciting, and the slate will be easily overtaken by the side of Imperium. And with one of these 2 remaining CT's positions known, they should be able to finish up the job. Oh, they know exactly where both of these players are too. Heretic, he's just in such a perfect location to find the first, the second one. He doesn't quite know. Oh my god, Castro, he's still holding in this corner over towards Mini Pit. This is amazing. Oh, and Heretic, he could actually have gotten the shot right there, but he's going to have to pull out the sidearm to actually finish up the job here. Who are you going to go ahead and try to hedge your bets on here? If you're betting for Heretic, then maybe you're going to be betting wrong. Castro, he somehow clutches that out, and I don't understand how. Again, there are so many baffling plays in this game where I'm genuinely lost for words. He stays alive for so long, basically having an embargo over the pit position. And it's able to actually convert the round. That's unbelievable. Castro being one hell of a pit anchor, I have to say. It really sucks too, because Heretic was hitting some pretty great shots. Probably the most important player for both teams in that 1v1. It's 16-15 now. And the CTs, they'll adjust their setup very, very early on here. Sending 3 players, 2 of which are over towards Coffins at the moment. How will this setup change? Oh, they're going to look for top banana control. There's no flashes though, so are they really going to dry peek this? This is insanely risky. But once they actually get down banana, that's where the real scare begins. Because Bert will be watching right around the corner. This is why it's so dangerous to try to retake banana control with no flashes. You're basically just offering yourself up to some person who wants to get a little bit cheeky and find a free kill. They get it nonetheless, and Russian Canadians will hold on, taking another man advantage. As the Oppa battery is able to strike one down. 40 seconds left on the clock. Imperium need to look to push in now. They have the utility to do it, but Jules has a really round-winning position. He's at an off angle on balcony. He's going to be good for 1 kill, but that's it. He's done his job, and so has his teammate. It's really going to be all down at this point to who uses their utility a little bit better. Double Molotovs remain on Imperium. Okay, well, single Molotov remains for Imperium. Wolf has to be stuck right behind it. Heretic, now giving up his position, will toss down another welcoming mat. And this is already looking wonderful for the Imperium side. Burning off so much time from the clock. Vec will have to move insanely quickly. We saw him in previous rounds just jump down from balcony and make a play happen, but Wilkie won't let any of that budge. He gets onto a 30 bomb, and I still stand strongly by the belief that he has been the utter hero for ImPerium this entire game. All evened up in single OT. It's not getting any easier as time goes by. You're hoping that maybe a team would have a read on the scenario, but all these rounds are going down to a pretty close margin. It's been a genuine good game of Counter-Strike all the way through. And you're seeing how both teams are really switching up their actual switching up their actual approach to a round every single time. Wolf, Battery, now both taking the aggression out towards mid and banana respectively. And while it will work out to a pretty decent regard, it's getting a little bit scarier. Now the defense will be split 2-2, and Russian Canadians might get overwhelmed if ImPerium actually decide to go for an execute here. It's looking awfully likely, seeming that they're gathering up over towards banana and that they have a good amount of utility on their belts. It's going to be a long, long way before help actually arrives for the CTs. Contacting up to Castro is going to be in for a nasty surprise. Maybe Wolf will first, actually. I'm more interested in Bert. Takes first contact here and loses the fight. Ellison now is going to be making a beeline to try to trade him out here. They have not cleared triple. What are they doing? You have to check for Castro, man. He's still in the back of sight, man. Oh, that is just worst case scenario. It's done. Russian Canadians, you have earned your round. And Wilkie, sure, maybe he gets a kill on his way out, but that's just padding the stats. Oh my god, they didn't clear triple. I need to take a gander at their util set again, but I swore they had a molly or something for triple. Or dark, or coffins, or something. A bit of a flimsy push, in all honesty, from ImPerium. Not the best way to close it out, but there's still a chance of victory. They're going to have a flawless second half of OT, if they want to. Otherwise, Russian Canadians might be awarded with the dub. Even if Russian Canadians win this, ImPerium still have one more game to do after this. So the fun never ends. Switching sides once more. Carter J and Heretic now going to be our off-wielders. Carter J is a bit of an interesting one to see. There's been a number of times, I suppose, where he is held over towards coffins, but that's actually usually been with a rifle, more so than the long green rifle. As for the notoriety of the fight for banana, ImPerium, they aren't too dedicated towards it. That's okay. They don't have to fight tooth and nail for it. In fact, they could just go ahead and try to retake control if they wanted to. Bert and Carter J are playing awfully close to the scenario, practically within striking distance of being able to call it theirs. Seen approaching the minute mark. Neither team has really made any notable moves so far. That should be changing, as now the Russian Canadians will be working once more for brackets. And how many times have we seen this classic scenario? And how many times will you see them actually doubling back, going back over towards banana? This reminds me a lot of their pistol strat. Joel's again being the lurker of note. Might be able to catch off a rotation, but he's looking at the anchor. Wilkie is going to have to really be caught off guard. Oh, the fact that that smoke went out is worst possible case scenario. Now they're going to have to take a 4v3 on B-bomb site here. Joel's in a wrap position still. The clock is winding down. He needs to go. They can't hold this off anymore. Russian Canadians, they need to push in. They can rely on Joel's a little bit later, and they are. They're going to go ahead and say, hey, deal with this one a little bit later. You'll guard our flank. Now we just need to take the site, and they're doing it pretty damn well, I have to say. Joel's is struggling over towards A, and I'll be damned to say, this is actually looking good for ImPerium. Everything again was going the way of Russian Canadians. They won that first fight. They had such an insane amount of map control to work with. and yet they still don't get it. Russian Canadians, at one of the most vital points of the entire match, are looking to lose it all. Carter J, a person I haven't really noted as being the opper for ImPerium, has shown up massively with a 4K. Unbelievable. They're making this a hell of a game. They just don't want to end. They really don't. Two rounds for either team to win it. Otherwise, again, we could be going to double OT, which, again, I also don't hope happens. There's another game that's waiting to be casted. I would like to rest my voice for longer than maybe 2 seconds. Slow approach. T-side, don't want to try to temper the beast. I've already done that a number of times, and God knows, ImPerium will fight tooth and nail. Keep an eye on Carter J, though. He still has first contact. Playing over towards a happy position. But he'll lose both fights. Russian Canadians, they'll stomp it entirely. Sure, there's a TK in the midst, but that's not even, in the grand scheme of things, all too important. That shot, however, is. How in the world? Again, there's so many plays that just like take the words out of my mouth. There is no reason for that to actually work out for Heretic, but it does. Clutch will begin, however. And 3v3 here. Battery will wait perfectly for contact as the players flood in through CT spawn. And now Heretic will have to pull off another miracle, but I don't think you're going to get that many easy shots anymore, Heretic, because Battery is lurking right around the corner and sitting on bomb. He is just going to be a sitting duck. Match point for the Russian-Canadian forces. It takes so long and a monumental amount of effort. 32 kills for Wilkie and 30 for Wolf. Both teams are firing off on all cylinders. That looks like despite the ImPerium member having the most kills in the server, it's not good enough to maybe secure this dub. Banana again, gonna be our focus. Russian Canadians. What's on the menu for them? Just holding it down. Oh, I am kind of liking this. They smoke top banana. This is so good from ImPerium. And this is even a better response from Wolf, too. Getting boosted on top of his teammate. That's going to burn out an HE. Joel's still remaining over towards Boiler Room, excuse me. Off angles adopted. This is a really amazing setup from ImPerium. However, they might be a bit too hesitant. See that rotator position that Heretic is playing? That's pretty big news. The execute actually begins over towards A. They're going to have a lot of hope on Wilkie being able to find these frags from that off angle. But the fact that he doesn't means that anything can really happen. Arch Wrap coming through right into Moto. They go. Heretic takes a shot but loses a fight. Ellison will get 2 of his own. And still, Russian Canadians are struggling to finish out the game. It's looking a lot like double OT unless Battery can change my mind. And he is! That first shot was nasty, but there is still a long way to go before the Russian Canadians finish this one out here. Util is not looking good for ImPerium, but the situation isn't looking that much more amazing for the T side either. It's going to be a matter of who hits their shots a little bit better, and sometimes that's just plain what Counter-Strike comes down to. Carter J sneaking in slowly with the AWP. Won't be checking it over towards Graveyard. Jules hits the shot, and that's actually huge kills. Now he's going to be relying on Battery to finish up the job, but they don't. It's double OT. Does this ever end? Wait, do they have the time? Oh my god. Well, it looks like I'm going to be late for this second match. My lord. How is this going this close? Second overtime, man. It's been one hell of a treat of a game. Now the magic number is 22. God knows how long it's going to be before we even see that come Imperium had such a wonderful setup. I was getting a little bit concerned when they backed off those angles, but the flashes were pretty great. Russian Canadians did a good job at forcing an awkward scenario up, but not quite good enough. Double up. Imperium are supposed to be playing their second game right now. I know, dude. That's the worst part. Like, they shouldn't even be here at the moment, yet they're still keeping it going. And they're angry, man. They know that they should be in their other game at the moment. They're just going to now take the aggro approach, and they're going to be the ones to find that first kill a couple of seconds into the round, quite honestly. Russian Canadians, not to go ahead and be led astray. I'll just try to go ahead and reshift their focus to taking the B-bomb site, and Carter J will have to rescind control. But still, a player lurks in the coffins, and the T side is well aware of it. Molotovs raining on in. Fireworks. Oh, these lads. Retake isn't looking exactly wonderful for Russian Canadians, or the post plant, excuse me, isn't. And that'll be exactly why. Utility, again, how many times do I have to say it? It's always one of the most important factors pretty much every round, and this is exactly why. It's going to do such an amazing job at zoning out basically every member of Russian Canadians. They hold down the line in Imperium. Their patience will be very well rewarded. Handsomely rewarded. As this barn burner apparently keeps on burning. I think Imperium should be going for this again. Tossing down a molly first. They don't want to go for the actual top banana peak. As you see, Russian Canadians are watching for it. Spam is actually good. In very recent times, like I'm talking since OT began, Imperium have been doing a pretty amazing job at cycling their utility. However, that's all going to be for naught if they can't win these fights. They trade 1-for-1. Bert, I don't feel like he should be taking this. Oh my god, he does. And it could have actually been the end of the B-bomb site. Now they'll have to give it up. Both players are down, and one still lurks over towards A. Two players lurking over towards A, but Imperium knows that there's a Joel's lying in wait, ready to pounce. Running with a knife out. Does Wilkie hear this? Oh, no, he doesn't. Oh, I want to keep an eye on this engagement. Joel's actually has basically the most important situation, the most important position, I should say, just because of that alone. Footsteps not being heard means that now Imperium now have to close the distance as quick as they can. They have kits. That's not an issue. The issue is finding these kills. They trade 1-for-1 once more. Molotov out onto the bomb will mark the end of this just insanely long... Wait, is it? Oh my god! .031! Oh my god, no way! If he didn't hit a leg shot there, he would have gotten it. I didn't even think there was time, even if he did. This game has gone on so long that I'm genuinely losing my mind. The fight for top banana still always remains true. Wolf, excuse. Okay, the game is done. Okay, Wolf has had enough. He wants to go to sleep, dude. He just got the stupidest 3K entry you could have ever hoped for. 2 while blind, the third just running through the smoke. It's going to be a wonderful recipe for round number 20 on the board for the Russian Canadian side. That's unbelievable. He even gets a 4K. What? That did not feel like any other round from the entire game. Usually you see such a big emphasis on these mid-round calls. But no, that round was just Wolfie pressing W. Oh man, it's looking like an ESEA main game. Well, edging out once more will be the Russian Canadians. 2 more if they want to finish this up, but again, who knows if that's going to happen. We're already here for this long. Into the second half of double OT we go. Russian Canadians, well, are definitely going to be on the forefront. They have the momentum riding behind them after Wolf gets his 37th kill of the game. The only question at this point is if he can get the 40 bomb. Molotov again, aggro. Good util set from Russian Canadians will force back ImPerium from taking that early map control. And what I want to see come out of this is Joel's trying to push up. See, thing is, since they pincer them down towards the bottom of mid, that would be a wonderful time for them to try to get a little bit aggro, maybe look for a pick towards all if they could. Hindsight's 20/20, but I think that would have been a wonderful situation for them. They won't try to go for it. And that'll be completely fine because they'll be taking fights of their own volition, just whenever they want, wherever they want. Already Russian Canadians are backing out towards the site. Vec maybe getting a bit antsy. Wants to try to close the gap. He spots a player, but chooses not to commit. This is a smarter move. He knows that these fights are very unlikely for him to win, at least without getting scathed a bit. The fact that he wins over the op is huge. He can find a second onto this P250 if he wanted. He doesn't realize that Carter is also really, really not doing well. He's on life support. And, of course, it'll all be shut down by Russian Canadians. Again, we're starting to see kind of a breakdown of ImPerium in recent times. This is not the same ImPerium that we saw for all of regulation, all of the beginning of OT. This kind of is a new thing. ImPerium are giving up a lot of these frags to solo plays and not shutting down flanks. It'll happen again as Joel's stops one player, that's Wilkie, but still the bomb will go down nonetheless. Joel's not even going to have to go for that kill here. Castro finishes up. 3 kills for him. Another round on the board for the Russian Canadians. And finally, match point in a very winnable scenario. Sure, ImPerium Esports, since they have money for days, could, go for anything crazy that they want. But this is the first time in a while that I am feeling incredibly confident in Russian Canadians, probably closing it out right here, right now. 22-19 seems like the tech. But I'm not a fortune teller. ImPerium Esports, it feels like they have been giving up a lot of these early kills. Now they'll try to do the absolute most they can to minimize that early damage. They did well at it last time. In this last round, I should say. But they need to go ahead and try to keep up that current form. And then, what seems like right now is that they're setting it for a Halls pop. No, they definitely aren't. This is just a standard A split. Never mind. Keeping a lurker in the form of Burt over towards Banana. Watching for a flank. More safeguarded this time. ImPerium. This is what has changed since Russian Canadians got that insane solo effort last time. They're definitely fatigued after having already played a lot of Counter-Strike today. They're definitely still trying to patch up those holes that they are very well noting. Brackets once again taken for what seems like the 20th time this match. But it's all a matter of who gets his first kill. Carter tries to extend for it, but doesn't want to overstay his welcome. Now the pivot will be over towards B. Castro gives up his life, and I don't understand why. I think he wasn't expecting an op posted on that angle, sure, but even if it was a rifle, I still wouldn't have tried to hedge my bets on it. He needs a flash through or something, Vec, if he wants to go for a play like this. Otherwise, ImPerium might go ahead and get 20. Oh no, Vec gets tagged by the smoke. That's going to be the end of him. Oh, is it seriously going to be 20-21? Please, God, don't tell me this is going to be a third overtime, dude. It's looking insanely likely at this point here. Wolf will have to go huge, but he just doesn't have enough bullets. He doesn't have enough time, and doesn't exactly have the control that he hopes for. Again, 21-20. It just never ends, man. I haven't had a chance to breathe, and I feel like my casting form is starting to slow down a decent amount. There's pauses coming at you just to really go ahead and, twist the knife a little bit. It just keeps on going. Double op still. Makes sense, though. Gotta go ahead and love it. Battery and Castro. Always being the wielders of it. I think we had a couple of rounds where Vec picked it up, too. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game, but that's where I remember seeing Vec on it at some point. I was like, wow, really? Surprising. But Castro is showing that he's a very good addition to the Op family, and holy hell, he will be delivering upon it in spades. He wants this game over with. Again, I think everybody has kind of wanted this game over with. We still have another match to cast, and I'm pretty sure it's already started by now. We'll never see the end of it if we were to quit over and go to it right now. The Ops are picking away at everybody on ImPerium before they can even set up for that basic map control that they have been basically getting for free every single time. There will be a little bit more of a fight when it comes to the actual execute from ImPerium, but they're down in numbers, they're down in spirits, they're down in rounds, and they're down in chances, quite honestly. Joel's just gets a perfect timing to find out Wilkie, and I think Ellison will be the same. Finally, the gauntlet ends, and Russian Canadians, they will go ahead and call that game theirs. It takes such an insane amount of effort. I'm